Numbers. Tom Sidney Bushnell, aka Numbers. Welcome back to the Tom Numbers Show. And many of you will recognise my colleague across the screen. It's Matt Geiger. All things gold. Matt, how are you, buddy? It's been a while since we've done a show. It's great to have you back. How you been?
Great, man. Good to be back. Nice to see you.
Yeah, it's good to have you back.
I got my new studio, but I got the same artwork. I got the Magador.
There you go. Some familiarity. There you go.
And for the viewers, if anybody didn't know, I started my own company, and we do this business just unbelievably. And I we obviously chatted about it last week.
Yeah.
But the options we offer, that kind of thing. But what crazy times, man.
Yeah.
It's getting
so
nuts.
Your company is Verity Metals. So
Verity Metals.
People will know Matt from last year. Can get gold and silver for you, and help you with the IRA. Get it all done for you, and also just deliver it now. Tell us about the bonus option that you'll get it shipped. Some could, but some chose not to. But you're going to give it everyone, so they get it to their door, which I think is amazing, particularly in these times. It's always good to have your precious metals in your possession.
So one of the reasons I started my own company is that you don't really own gold unless you hold it, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the premise.
Yes.
And with IRAs, what I see people doing is they're just going to these random depositories. You have no idea who's running these, right? These random custodians that send you your statements. It's like, have you ever gotten that gold or that silver and had it in front of you and inspected it yourself, right? How do you know what you got? You have no idea. These are people's entire, life savings in many cases, right? So kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So I structure it in such a way where we can actually ship you the gold, you can inspect it, and then we'll find a local depository close by to you. You can pretty much store it wherever you want. You just need some infrastructure. It's a little bit more of a process, a little bit additional cost, not much, a few bucks. But it just gives people the peace of mind and the flexibility knowing, hey, you have your stuff. No other company does it. So any of these big guys you see advertised, it's like, okay, call, you're talking with one of their reps, be like, hey, who's your rep at, XYZ depository where you're sending my gold? And they're going to sit there and be like, I have no idea.
I chuckle, but that's not funny at all because you want to know, you want to have it. And so
you want to have it. It's a big component, but I mean, what's going on now is they're setting up Trump, right? They're setting up Trump for this economy.
But just for clarity, just to reiterate, when people go through yourself, you'll give them the best service, and you'll take them from start to finish with their IRA if they want to do it that way, or if they just want to be a cash buyer. But you will deliver their precious metal to the choice of their address, whether it's
we'll help you get a safe.
We'll
help you get a safe if you need ideas of I got people that build in my old house, not my new house, but in my old house I had a fake wall, so I actually built a fake wall in my place, which is kind of interesting. So people need schematics and ideas how to do this stuff. Sometimes what keeps people on the sidelines is like, all right, what the hell am I going to do with $500,000 of gold and silver? I have no idea. Right. So I hook people up with safe companies, good rate, good fire rating on safe.
I remember your safe guy last time. I remember him.
Yeah, and it's such simple stuff, and it's certain brands you want to avoid, just little ins and outs that if people are new to this, which most people are, they don't want just somebody that knows the gold. The gold and silver is simple, but having somebody that understands, okay, here's some ideas how to store it. Right. Let's look into some depositories close by to you, right? If you don't want to keep it all at home. Just little odds and ends like that. Like I keep most of my stuff off site these days. Just because I do a lot of these, appearances on podcasts and things like that. I don't need the hassle, So for me, keeping it off site. So it really just depends on the person. But give me a call. I'm happy to chat about it, give you some, ideas, whatever I can do.
But the bottom line is you'll deliver it to wherever they want. So it can be the home or off-site that they've chosen, that they are in control of, and they physically take the inventory, they see it themselves, and then it's up to them where they put it. And that's the best way, because then they know they've got it, as opposed to trusting, someone on the end of the phone. And who knows when it gets real, they'll be like, don't know where that is, And that's the number one thing with stuff like that. you need to have it, and you need to be in possession of it. And whether you store that in somewhere off-site that you've got, or that be you as the receiver, i.e., you, the members of the audience, you, the ones that need to take it. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's talking about gold and
hey,
silver.
Suzanne, Louise, how are you? Good to see you.
What's up, guys? To me, talking about gold and silver is boring. Let's talk about what's like really going on. What are they really doing? They're handing Trump a big essentially a ticking time bomb, right? Everybody's so concerned.
Elaborate.
Well, everybody. Let's say the average person, they've got a stock portfolio, right, or something like that. They're looking at the stock market. You don't look at the stock market. You look at the debt market, right, where all the debt's being held, right? That's where the bonds are. That's where everything's going to be going south. So what they're doing is they're creating so much debt, and they're doing it so fast that this is what they're gonna crash the economy with Trump on. Because if you crash the debt market, stock market's inevitable. But it's not just the stock market that crashes. It's actually something much more important that crashes, and that's the U.S. dollar itself. Right. So what these guys need to do is they need to set Trump up for the biggest financial meltdown in history, and somehow get their media assets to put the full and total blame on him. That's the only way that they have a way out of this thing. And I feel like Trump's almost given them a shot at doing it. In other words, why didn't it happen under Joe Biden's watch?
I know. I always thought it would just go under Joe's watch, and I'm like, I did ask a few years ago on a show, though. I said, logically, it makes sense just to do it under Biden's watch. But then I did also have the caveat of like, I wonder if they'll do it not under Biden's watch, because everything seems to be asymmetric. It's like there's always something around the corner, and you don't know exactly what it is. But the overriding thing is, this has been a beautiful, smooth, amazing, all of it. Even though some parts don't necessarily make sense, it's like they're weaving everything together. But it's like, okay, maybe that's their last hurrah, just dump it all on Trump. But then he'll somehow do Trump Aikido and flip it, and then it will be like, ta-da!
He could, yeah.
Trump
what he
Aikido.
wants,
there you go, Trump Aikido. Yeah.
Like Aikido. What Trump always wants to do is he wants to take the move that you're going to use against him and flip it on you, right?
Yeah.
That's the move to look for. So I totally agree with you. I mean, when we were talking last year, I was always thinking like, okay, it's going to be election season, and that made perfect sense.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, what if Trump? He's taken all the slings and the arrows. That's why they put him in there, right? Because he's a guy that can just take the heat. He can just take the abuse.
Yeah.
Right. The more you abuse him, the stronger he gets.
Yeah.
So he's the kind of guy where we'll have a total meltdown, and he'll find a way out of it, right? And during that process, just like we're learning now who these different players are, right? We've been getting almost like a lesson in civics. Soon we're going to be getting a lesson in not just civics, but also economics and how the system worked, right? And why we got to that point and who the players were involved. So we're all going to be going through this together. And I think, at the end of the day, the debt levels are just so crazy. I mean, I spoke to Juan one time, and he says, if you think you're going to have, the debt was 34 trillion at the time. It's like, if you think you're going to have $34 trillion of debt without any consequences, you are out of your mind. You're out of your mind. And that's just the debt we know about.
Yeah.
Right. The Federal Reserve has an on-balance sheet and an off-balance sheet. I bet you the off-balance sheet is $2 quadrillion. Quadrillion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just something crazy.
Yeah. When you said we're going to go through this together, so immediately, the phrase, where we go one, we go all. So W, where we, G, where we go, and then one, we, so WGA. So WWG, one, G, however, anyway, whatever that is, that comes to 85, which comes to silver. And I was like, there we go. So Matt, you said it, where we go one, we go all. Where we
and the reverse
go
would be 58.
One, we go all. Huh?
And the reverse of 85 would be 58, and 58 is what, the start?
Start is 78, but 58 is, well, it is a start. It's 58 is Nessara. And so it's XRP as well. And Ivanka and Star. And XRP is a bump in that. What's that?
I've had some really interesting conversations with people about Nessara, Jassara. And I've always been somebody who's total nonsense. Even Juan says, he's like, yeah, it's BS. But I do think there are components of Nessara that are real. Like, I think a lot of people, I think a good way to make people whole would be to give them their income taxes back.
Give them that back, give them their birth certificate, I'll give it all back. And the thing is, I think as well, I mean, there's all, like you talk about off balance. So what's the actual value of the world? How big is the world really? How much gold is in the world? How much gold do we have access to? Are there other realms? Are there space? You know, there's so many talking heads in this game. There's so many talking heads, one included. You know, there's talking heads all over the place. And with all of this, I've learned, like, I mean, maybe someone does have everything. I don't think they do, but I've learned just to kind of do our best, enjoy the show. But the overriding thing is that this will be the greatest thing ever, and everyone will be kept buoyant. But in the meantime, when a storm comes in, it's wise to be prudent, and it's wise to take necessary actions in this physical realm. You know, we're going from physical to kind of an Aquarius where the ethereal and the physical kind of blend. But in terms of assets like gold and silver, it's prudent to get on the right side of that, you know, and protect yourself as you would on anything. But
you know what's nice about it, Tom? You know what's nice about gold and silver, in all honesty? It's that who knows how gold and silver will be repriced in the new system. I just know that, for example, myself, right?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here having a ball. I'm having a great time. It's like, throw whatever you want at me.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever these guys in government want to do, the government gangsters, right? Whatever these idiots want to do.
Yeah.
Right. I'm good. I'm sitting back. You know, if you're somebody like that's done an IRA with me, you have possession of your gold and silver. You're not panicking. Your stuff's not out there.
Yeah.
You know, because what's going to happen is there's going to come a point where the money becomes so worthless that everybody's going to be trying to get rid of their money as quickly as possible. And what are they doing? They're getting into assets.
Yeah.
So you might find yourself in a position where, you know, maybe you're older in age, maybe you're a 60-year-old guy, and you say, hey, you know what, that Shelby Mustang, you know, that I wanted, that was, you know, 200 grand, that might actually be a great place to store some money, because it's a tangible asset, and you're going to want to get out of the dollar. You're going to want to get out of the dollar. So the way I see this is everybody's going to be rushing to get out of the currency. Credit's going to shut down. Scary part about credit shutting down is that now you don't have truckers driving across the country and delivering food, so your grocery store is shut down.
Yeah.
Right. That's why you have to be self-sufficient. That's why you got to get the storables. And, you know, I've done the My Patriot Supply. It's good stuff, but I mean, I couldn't sit there for 3 months and want to eat that, you know, so I got a freezer in my garage. I store it with, you know, different cuts of beef and,
nice
you know, chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going to want to eat My Patriot Supply for 3 months. It's not bad. It's, you know, and they're good company. I don't want to knock them, but, yeah, you know, just get prepared. Start thinking self-sufficient, because, you know, gold, silver, you're taking possession of your money. Yeah. Storables, generators, lead, right? I know where you are. You're living in the Third Reich over there in London, but
lead.
Lead.
You want to get lead? So lead. Talk to us about lead. Superman.
Pew pew. I don't want to say it on YouTube.
Who? Pew pew.
Pew pew.
Oh, yeah.
Your audience understands.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of an American thing, but
yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. We call it farming equipment.
Yeah. Bow and arrow.
Yeah, get everything prepared, because it's like, from where I'm sitting and where my clients, my friends, which are mostly my friends too, it's like no one's stressing. We're just like, embracing whatever's going to come. Hey, you want to crash the financial system? Go for it.
Yeah.
You know, you want to crash this? You want to go for it, man.
Yeah.
Do your work.
As you're saying this, so I've thought this many times, but it's coming now to the front of my mind again while we're talking. So this whole thing of, if they do it under Trump's watch, so the biggest one that was under Trump's watch was Corona, was 2020.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, since the election, because I thought pandemonium was going to kick off the election. The main thing is that President Trump got in. I thought maybe they're going to try another one, but bigger, and then eventually he'll get in, but we could have... But he got in super smoothly, and then we've kind of had this calm before the storm. And what is the storm? I don't know. I mean, storm in numbers is 85 awakening. I still envisage a storm. President Trump said there will be a storm. But it does also make sense. It seems counterintuitive initially, but to have the big dog in charge, like President Trump when he was in charge over Corona, they gave reassurance for that really potentially chaotic and upheaving period of time in human history. And things like shops were still open. There were money put into the system, like all these furlough schemes. And so actually, despite what was going on, it was a different time, but it was a very reflective time. I know people had their businesses and stuff in there, but most people actually were able to just kind of metaphorically and literally stay in their room, have a think about life. And key workers, I know them all by name in my old place in London. You know, it's like they were there, you queued and you went in and got your stuff and you're in and out. But it was actually particularly very smooth how it all operated. And so whatever's coming next, and whether it's something like that or different, I don't know, they've got it. And so we're going to be okay, but still make preparations. And if something like the money system goes down, then it is prudent to have something of a tangible asset in your possession before, because it will. I mean, when hyperinflation or super hyperinflation, or maybe I don't know if you can get negative, whatever they're going to do to just collapse and wipe everything out and bring in a new system. While that piece goes on, it's worthwhile and prudent to have something like a physical asset that you've got, as opposed to just relying on other people's goodwill and good gestures if everything's not acceptable.
Well, it's your opportunity to buy in when the coast is clear, right?
That's it.
You're not waiting for these banks and these different corporations to get sued out of existence so that you can get maybe some pennies on the dollar for whatever.
Yeah, and who wants that? That's just you want to live your life. You don't want to be fighting.
Exactly.
I personally don't want to be. I don't want to be involved in all kinds of shenanigans of
I was in London. I was in London in 2020 during the pandemic, and they opened up.
Yeah, we would have been like ships of the night. We're down Baker Street in Regent's Park. Like, I was mad.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. No, it's just funny because I was, I'm standing outside of what is it, Tesco? I'm standing in the queue.
Tesco,
yeah, standing in the queue for Tesco.
Yeah.
And you're right, it was pretty organized, but it just, everything was closed. Like I would have loved to go to like a classic pub, where everybody's in there having beers and
you could get a Scotch egg, but you couldn't get much else.
Yeah, I couldn't get into like a pub. And I remember even some of the restaurants, it was like mid-December that they opened up. They were open, and then by like the 20th of December of 2019 or 2020, it was like December 21st of 2020. They closed down all the restaurants, and you kind of had to just. But what was great was Airbnbs were on discount. So for the few months that I was there, I got like a palace, and I paid a fraction of. I negotiated, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But just you're exactly right. I mean, the pandemic is a great example, and I was listening to Juan last night on a I guess it was a Telegram something. He's doing it with Rachel, and he was talking about how these fires in California, the damage themselves of California is going to be about $2 trillion.
Yeah,
$2 trillion. Okay. But the overall impact that'll have, financial impact, should be around $12 trillion.
Yeah.
$12 trillion. That is insane. So this tells you this is a delayed effect, right? To see the effects of whatever financial repercussions this thing's going to have.
Yeah.
California's going to be depending solely on the federal government to come in and rescue them because they don't have any money. They're broke. California's already I think it's about $2 or $3 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
Is their debt of California. So with that said, this could be one of the catalysts for what's coming. Have a couple of events like this, boom, you've taken down the world economy.
The big numbers. Yeah. You know what? When I learned in depth about all the stuff in regards to Hollywood and all the other stuff that goes on with that underneath, and I remember feeling we're just going to see that Hollywood sign burn at some point.
Yes.
I didn't think, the neighborhoods around it will burn. Maybe that still will go, but whether literally that Hollywood sign goes or metaphorically, I mean, Hollywood's burning right now. It's burning. And whether the sign goes or not, it's being wiped out. Yeah.
It's you're going to see more of it. You're going to see a lot more of it. Yeah. LA is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Chicago, New York. New York will be interesting. I'm from New York, so what they've done.
Minneapolis. They're big, yeah. So there'll be what other big ones? Yeah, well, maybe not Texas, but yeah, big cities, big places, big cities. Yeah. Have we got any questions in here for? Any questions for Matt? The Count of Monte Cristo looks good.
Hi from communist Sweden. Oh, jeez. I can actually see here. I like doing these things.
Yeah. Hey, Lynn.
Hey, Tom. Hey, Marilyn.
Where do you live again, Lynn? Did you have a question for Matt? Have you invested in yourself with gold and silver? Do you have a question for him? So what do you think on this whole thing of, so it was out there for a while, but now it's becoming really to the front with some surprises, like the whole Australia, Canada, Mexico, Gulf of America, Greenland, Panama Canal. There's rumbles and rumors of somewhere back in time there were legislation, I guess maybe constitutional stuff here in the UK, that somehow maybe the UK could join the US. I think that would be great. And I've got a theory on this, and we'll see, who knows. But it came to me yesterday that I've known for a long time that in the numbers, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, that the two words America first equal millennium. Millennium is 1,000 years of peace, the golden age. President Trump spoken about the golden age of Aquarius, whatever you want to say, the new times, the new era that we're going into.
Right.
Now, perhaps, what if President Trump was to kind of get all countries on board, all together in the America first, like God's version of kind of a united world, and then maybe the Great Awakening is if there's other things beyond, and we get introduced to our, perhaps, because he talked about thousands of countries as well. President Trump spoke about in Corona. He spoke about thousands and thousands of countries, and then he kind of looked up and just seen who caught that. He's like thousands, and I was like, "What's he mean? Does he mean are they going to go like into smaller states? Like here, you got counties. You could have maybe 40, 50 different countries.
Right.
Italy used to be made up of all these provinces, or if that's what the correct name for them was, maybe not. But all these different regions. I was like, he's talking because I think there's 209 countries in the world right now, which comes from the Empire State Building, actually. Empire State Building.
Do you believe in the ice wall, the Antarctica ice wall?
I think. Well, I think there's something. I mean, I don't know
There's
how it is.
To that.
What's that?
There's something to that.
There is something to it. I mean, in Game of Thrones. Okay, put it this way: Game of Thrones is 146 in numbers. Truth Social is 146 in numbers. Ivanka Trump is 146 in numbers. New Jerusalem is 146 in numbers. The best reversal was 146. So perhaps they don't want us to go to Antarctica. Maybe there's an ice wall. I don't know. I'm open to whatever the possibilities are, and I'm not a flat earther. But when you look outside, it looks pretty flat. I'm just saying, if you didn't know the concept of it looks pretty flat, but I'm not a flat earther. Maybe we're on a huge, massive globe, and it's just literally like a football patch, and it's like slightly curved, and then I don't know. I really don't know. And the people that say that they do, maybe they do or not, I don't know. But it does seem like there's something to it. And if President Trump has been saying there's thousands and thousands of countries, like, well, where are they? Are they out in space? Are they underneath the earth? Are we all going to be tiny, small countries? Whereas it looks like he's trying to unify countries and bring them together under one kind of great whole. Where are all the other countries? Maybe they are beyond the ice wall.
Exactly.
I mean, the testimonies of what was his name, Byrd, going beyond to Antarctica, and then it's like warm.
Who wrote
the
journal? He wrote the journal, right?
Yeah. So what? I mean, what is it? What is it, and why have they kept everyone out? So the Great Awakening is coming. I mean, this is all kind of the prelude to it, but something's going on. I mean, that stuff with President Trump getting all the countries together, I didn't see that one coming, but it makes more sense in terms of America first is 122, Millennium's 122. I've known that for ages, but I didn't see this part of the puzzle coming. So who else knows what else is coming? So I'm just like, bring it on.
Totally agree with you. How it's done, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I like the Alex Jones phrase that he'd been using for years, which is 1776 worldwide.
Did he?
Yeah, Jones has been using that for like 10 years. Close to 10.
Interesting.
He's the one well, maybe somebody else was, but he coined it years ago, and I just powered him. But
Interesting.
yeah, 1776 worldwide. I mean, it could be what the version you're talking about, or it could just be, hey, everybody's going to adopt basically what the U.S. Constitution is, right? We need to revise it so that,
Yeah.
the Second Amendment isn't, people don't think it's about, hunting. No, you own guns for tyrannical government.
Yeah.
First and foremost, that's the number one reason.
Yeah.
So, that we got to clarify some, kind of old language, like, well-regulated militia. Regulated didn't mean the government comes in and regulates it like we think today. It had a totally different meaning. So,
they could sing that hook. They can go. They can go. You know what? As well, when you talk about the word government, okay, so when you see Trump plus Vance in numbers, it's 133. Government's 133. Christian people talk about, God's government, Christ's government in the millennium. Okay, and I understand that, and that's fine. But then you've got simulation 133. So are we in a simulation? It definitely feels like it somehow. Elon's talked about it a lot. 133 is Terminator as well. President Trump has taken that reference talking about Terminator. So it's like, what is it? Like, what's coming? And it's like, I think there's going to be a lot of surprises that we hadn't even conceived. But as soon as we hear about them, very quickly it will suddenly make sense. It's like, oh, okay, that's what they're on about. That thing with Alex Jones, I didn't know that he's been saying that. But it's 1776, 17 is Q, 76 is a magic wand. You add them together is 93. Bushnell's 93, so it's like Thomas plus Q. So I know that personally. But then 93 is kingship, it's Nazareth. It's a whole bunch of things, but it's like all these codes, all these numbers, all these reveals, all these twists in the road. When you get there, it's like, and then you look back and you have a bird's eye or a more aerial view. It's like, oh, that makes sense now. Whereas I'd heard about the Canada and Australia thing, but then when he started to go, and Don Jr.'s out there in Greenland, and it's like, these guys are serious about this. They're telling us what they're going to do. They've told us what they're going to do, and it's like, actually, they're going to go through with this. And it's like, okay. And it seems like the world be like, yeah, go for it. We're on board. Because I said, I don't vote for people here, but if I could vote for President Trump, I do metaphorically and literally with my voice. But in terms of a ballot, I would. And ultimately, when we get to that, I don't think we'll even need elections. President Trump said it will be so great. This is the last vote. He said it himself. I've known for ages that he knows the nonsense of having some superior so-called thing dictating to the masses. That's why he's reversed it and said, give power back to the people. He's dissolving governments as they are. So when he said, I just one more time, just do vote the last time, that will be it. That will be it. And he meant it, literally, because I've known for a long time that he knows that all of this is BS. But they're having to just move the dial over and across to get people to, But why on earth would anyone would pick some random or even someone that they know, through the TV airwaves to dictate everything to? It's nonsense. The whole thing of governments and votings is BS. And people that peddle it have to be questioned. President Trump is using that as a vehicle to flip and get the power back to the people, as he's with everything. But ultimately, fundamentally, we won't need any of that. And and it's not just me, it's not just Tom Numbers coming up with that theory. President Trump has said, he's alluded to it before, and he said it. He said, it'll be so great, you'll never need to vote again. So what's he mean by that? It's definitely not going to be, that whole thing is going to be ripped up. The calling election made sure was November 5th, 2024. That's what it was.
He might be talking about in like a presidential election, right? Because according to Ingersoll Lockwood's book, right, from was
the
it
last
1900?
president, the last president, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I would think that my interpretation, because I've thought about some of this stuff before, is maybe it just goes down to the state level or even the local level, like counties, right? Not even just a state, but could be your local county where you elect, right? That's where you're going to be voting.
Because you might do. But I can see that. I can see that. And like you say, the presidential will go. I think fundamentally, I think that model, depending on how I mean, is it 5 years into the future? Is it 50? I don't know. But I think eventually, once people understand who they are at a divine level, elections and voting for each other to do stuff will just be like will o' the wisp. I think that's all I feel.
I agree with your sentiments, but I think people will not be fooled into voting. I actually, it's kind of funny you bring it up because I was talking to a guy that I met through. Do you know Dr. Frank, Dr. Doug Frank?
I don't know.
He's
I think I've heard the name, but you could have created that, and I'd be like, I think I've heard the
he
name.
was working with Mike Lindell. He had Frank Speech TV, right? He was doing now it's Lindell TV, right? He's working with Mike
I know who
Lindell.
Lindell is. Yeah.
Dr. Frank is a personal friend of mine and a client.
Okay, cool.
He actually buys his stuff from Verity Metals, my company. Dr. Frank's a
cool.
brilliant guy. He's a physicist.
Maybe you've mentioned him to me before. That's maybe where
I guarantee you he is.
Yeah.
But this guy uncovered all the election stuff from 2020, uncovered everything by the numbers.
Yeah.
He introduced me to somebody else, and what this guy realized was that he had people voting. He created some complicated system. I'm not going to try to explain it, but he got people to vote based on actual policies without knowing, okay, this is Democrat or Republican. And literally 85% of people would have voted for Trump based on just on what they wanted.
Yeah.
The other, you know how much like the Democrat Party got? I think not even 2%.
Yeah.
And the other was kind of like so just that number right there shows you just how brainwashed people are.
Yeah.
How powerful the brainwash is. And back to your point, that's what I think you have to do. I think you have to eliminate the brainwashing. And once you do that, people can vote and they're not going to be fooled, right? That's why you have to bring stuff to the state levels because that's the best defense. That's how China took over. Is they went to our state levels and local levels, took over our school boards, etc., and they've effectively taken over the United States in the process. That's what we've been trying to reverse here. We've all been focused on, we need the presidency, we need the higher up office, right? Presidency is shit if you have nothing else. You want the local level. The local levels is where it's at. You will never take down a country if the local levels are solid.
Yeah, you need local for sure. And that's the thing. Once people are unbrainwashed, then it'll be clear
exactly
what's required and what's not. And so it's an exciting new world. We'll see. I mean, if someone can do something effectively and then give them the mandate to do it, great. But if they don't, then you can yank them out as quick as you can exchange some crypto. So, boom, done.
And something else I'll tell people to consider is, in terms of investing and things like that, it's not just gold and silver. I mean, I would say go out and buy, and I could help advise you. Like if people just want to call me and get my insights, go buy like some George magazines. There's different JFK memorabilia.
What number should they call you on, Matt? Because we're about to wrap up the show. So what's the new number you've got? Do you want to read that out? It's on the
thing. Yeah,
480. Tell everyone.
Yeah, so this actually will go right to my phone. You can text us. I have obviously a landline, but what's nice is you can actually text this number.
Yeah,
it's 480-717-9081.
Brilliant.
For people, I'll get you links to, and I don't even need to make a dime off of it. In other words, buy some George magazines. I'll show you the ones that have different communications in them. If you watch any of, Rachel Wrightside's videos, I mean, she produces some of the best. We don't have to get into that, but I can show you where to find these things, and you just buy it yourself. So I'm happy to help in any capacity. Yeah, if you need gold or silver,
yeah, valuable investment. So give Matt a call, and also pencil this in, folks. So me and Matt are going to be doing a live show each Monday. So it will be 5 p.m. UK Monday time. We started a little later today because we just had to set the studio up, getting the two of us on the screen. But now we've done that. So the next Monday it will be 5 p.m. UK, and it will be 10 a.m. Arizona time. So you can work that out on your American time.
It's 12 noon Eastern.
12 noon Eastern. Okay, so that's going to be every Monday. So we start the kick of the week off with 30 minutes with Matt on the show, and you can come prepared for some questions. He can answer questions about what's best to do, and if you want to give him a call, you can actually instead of the landline, you can get through to him on the mobile now. So good stuff, my friend. Well, it's been great to see you.
Thank you, Tom. You too.
It's been good to. Yes, it's been great. We always enjoyed doing shows before, so it's great to have you on. And I look forward to the next one.
Good to see you, buddy. Thank you.
See you, buddy.
Adios.
Cheers, man. Yep. Thanks, folks. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, guys.